The only ones. We're the last ones. We're not going to give that up. Gives us the opportunity to pull out of the wild and release back into the wild, which helps the wild population, like you mentioned earlier. Yes, sir.
So, good question, and I'm going to use the wrong term, right? Novice or whatever.
Apprentice.
Apprentice.
Yeah.
Why don't we, or why don't you also have the option of taking one of the accipiters, such as the Coopers or the Red Shoulders? Are they more difficult?
As an apprentice?
Yeah.
And taking it from the wild? That's actually a good question.
So, as an apprentice, you are only allowed 2 birds, the
Yeah.
kestrel and the red-tailed. That's it. She's under my supervision for 2 years. I am responsible for her and this bird. She kills the bird, it's on me, on my license. We're talking a federal license, and you know how they are. So, because the other birds are not as hardy, not as common, and not as available, they've only made those 2 species for apprentices. Basically, a practice bird. It sounds kind of mean, but it's true because they're abundant. Kestrels and red-tails are everywhere, and you can find them everywhere. Cooper hawks, obviously, it's a different species of bird that requires a different species of type of training. Sharpshins is the smaller accipiters. Goshawk is the bigger of the accipiters. They all require a lot more than just be able to do what she's doing with this one. So, the federal law, that she can only take one or the other until she becomes a general. Even then, I would not recommend that she gets an exhibitor immediately. She needs to experience with other birds, because the more you have different species, the better you get at learning what they need and their needs. Obviously, like I said earlier, this is not a cool hobby just to look cool. This is a sport. This is something that you do, and I've been doing since '96 nonstop. I hope I answered your question. Oh, yeah, rabbits and jackrabbits and occasional wood rat. You have a question there?
How long do they live?
That's another great question. So, in the wild, not very long. In captivity, in hairstock, you live up to 30 years.
Same as with the red tail, it's anywhere between 20 and 30.
Yes, sir.
How many different species of hawks are in this area? There's more than one, yeah?
Yes. Want to name them? Test. You got Cooper's hawks, you got red-tailed hawks, you got red-shouldered hawks, occasional golden eagle, kestrels, and as far as falconry, great horned owls.
Is that all local?
They're all local.
Oh, wow.
Not to mention barn owls, screech owls, which they're not permitted for falconry. What she's doing right now is called preening. She's content, she's happy, so she's decided to clean herself up. Yes?
Sir, do you have aspirations, or do you have aspirations eventually to, I wouldn't say progress, but change to like a peregrine falcon, or a falcon that they'll take their prey out of the air rather than the ground, or is that something for your sport that right now is stick with the ground game rather than birds?
Well, so Alex here's had how many different types? A lot, right?
Pretty much all of them.
Okay. But around here, the reason why these are probably the best to have in this area is because of the type of game. Because with a peregrine falcon or any falcons that are more avian prey, we just don't have their type of prey around here in abundance like they are in other parts of the United States. So they call us dirt hawkers, right? Yeah.
Because of the type of quarry that we have, these are the best types of birds to have. But we live where there was water, ponds, ducks, maybe abundance of quail, chukar, pheasant, falcon would be.
Yeah.
Even a goshawk would be ideal. But because where we live, these are the best types of birds for our area.
I guess to follow up one more, do you, can people request your assistance to help with ground game management? You know, like, hey, I've got private land, would you mind coming and helping with the rabbit population?
Like hunting
just
on
give me a
land?
number.
Yes.
I'll come Give me a number, I'll come and help you with all the rabbits you want.
Yeah.
Shiny food.
Yep.
And so does Candy.
Yeah.
Maybe you can share with Candy. Where's she at?
Yeah.
Yes.
How
Oh, good question.
You can answer that.
What was the question?
She asked, how do you know if it's a boy or a girl?
Male or female?
Yeah, male or female. So, it's all about their weight. And so you have their size. So if you typically have a larger bird that's, gosh, I want to describe it as, if they, what's it?
Bossy.
Bossy, there you go, perfect, yeah. So, a typical red-tailed female is gonna be in, like, when we talk about grams, it's gonna be into the thousands. Versus, he, right now, we're getting him down to his flying weight, and we're, again, trying to figure out what's gonna be his weight for when he goes, and we're looking at like 790, but it's not every bird, it just kind of depends. So, males are typically, again, they're smaller. He is actually on the small end for a male, so hopefully that answers that. Yes,
Okay, I got 5 questions.
okay.
One at a time, one at a time.
Are there spirit hawks here?
No.
Okay. Question 2. I have koi fish pond. Do the red tails or killer hawks ever bother
No.
fishing?
Great blue heron.
That's what I told them.
Parents will.
Yeah. Blue heron.
Parents will come and take your fish, not the hawk. Parents.
Oh, yeah.
The hawks? Really?
Well, they are opportunistic, so if they get desperate enough, they see
Well, I guess
something,
she-
you know.
I've never seen it, never experienced it. She says they do, they can.
Okay, yeah, because I've seen a young red tail taking a bath in my fish pond at the end.
And then fishing at the same time?
Just go to the bottom and they just sit there, wait till he's gone and come back up.
I've never seen it, I've never heard of that. That's cool, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I've got half a dozen photos.
Okay. What's question number 3?
Huh?
Question number 3.
Question number 3. Obscure turkey vultures. I had like 3 of them circling over the house yesterday. Are they in the same family as your hawks?
No, they're in the vulture family, and they eat, obviously carcasses, dead animals. They're the cleaner, bigger uppers of the world, so no, they're in the same family. But they're pretty good to look at. I like when they soar.
Yeah. First time I've seen them since I've been here, so. It's strange. Okay, the next question was molting. You said they lose their flight feathers and their tail feathers.
All of them, all the feathers, they change them all.
That's including owls and everything?
Everything, all birds will molt.
I took a trip to Alaska and they said you can't even own an eagle feather. It's against the law.
Yeah, that's protected.
Unless you're a falconer.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Native American, you cannot own, possess, transport, harass, pick up eggs, feathers,
No, you can't, huh?
no.
No
Without,
one was even supposed to have a nest. Did you know that? The old laws, you don't take a nest. And so the ones that blow down, yeah. But it's really against the law to have any of that.
do you have question number 6?
Question number 5 is, I already lost it.
I'll go back.
Too much.
Yes,
Why do they have to get rid of those animals?
so they can get new ones. It's like your hair is constantly growing, their feathers change. It falls out and new ones grow in.
Why do they have to change?
So in case they're broken, in case they're tatted, in case they fray, they get burned or cut or whatever, and they just get a new one. Yes.
So during that off season, do you not fly them at all?
No.
Like, no, you don't.
No, not at all.
Really, so for 6 months, they don't ever fly out?
No, we interact with them.
Right.
We don't let them out.
I would just, yeah.
Here's the reason. I'll try to make it short. The reason why these birds come back to us is because we control their weight. If she was 1,200 grams, I mentioned earlier that it's 1,000 is the flying weight. If she was 1,200 grams and I let her out, what she's gonna do is go find the tallest tree she can find, go up it, perch in it, pull a leg up, and just look around normally all day. If she's at that lower 1,000 gram weight, she'll be ready to hunt. She's ready to be, she's motivated. So, during the molt, we increase her weight. We don't want those feathers to get what we call stress marks or hunger marks. When there's babies in the nest that the parents can't feed enough or fast enough, they'll develop this marks across their tails and they become bands. Those are stress marks. If you fold that feather at that particular point, it'll break. So in order for us to avoid them getting into stress marks, we feed them up. And at that weight, we don't fly because we don't want to sit in the tree and wait for them. I've had birds that had something to eat out of reach. I had one of these birds go far out, catch a tiny baby rabbit, picked it up, took it to a tree, ate it, and wouldn't come down whatsoever. So I had to let her be out there for 2 days. Because she had telemetry, I was able to keep track of where she was. I came back on the third day with my lure. She came down to it, grabbed her, put it in a box, and I'm home. But that's because she ate. She didn't have the need for me to be around. Like, no, I'm good. You can go and take off.
So like the lure, you don't do any lure training during the off season?
No, not during the off season. We just let them be. They just let them. And see, here's why. We don't want them to have stretch marks because the way I hunt my birds, I said earlier, I go after jackrabbits. That's my preferred quarry. We're talking a 2 pound versus a 6 pound. She needs everything she can get to give her the advantage. Height, distance, speed, and a full set of good feathers. She's mad at me.
And he doesn't care.
Just like I said about the helicopter earlier, if it's missing 2 blades, well, it's probably gonna do this, right? It's not gonna fly properly, it's not gonna be calibrated level. Same with birds. They have to have all of their feathers pristine condition for them to be as efficient as they can when they're hunting.
So if she breaks one hunting a jackrabbit, she's done for the season?
No,
Oh.
no, that's pretty smart. We actually save all the feathers from the previous season, we imp it,
No.
replace it.
Yep.
So we cut it at the base and create a shaft, put a little hot glue, put one right in.
We do that with rehab too. We get a bird in that's got a messed up bunch of feathers, but there's nothing else wrong. It just doesn't have enough feathers to fly. When I lose a bird, which I don't often, thank goodness, but I harvest, if the wing feathers, tail feathers are in the condition, I harvest the wings and the tail, I label what they came from.
And which side?
Yeah.
Right.
Then I can go to, if it's a red tail I've got a problem with, I can go and take that wing and pull it exactly, it has to be the exact same feather. You've got to have it
Stop
exactly.
it right now. That is so cool.
Right back in, and then that sucker doesn't have to stay with me through.
Like it has to be, so if this feather falls out,
You find one
So
that-
breaks.
it has to be this feather that you harvested from the other bird. Oh my gosh.
If you look at a bird feather, it's not, some of them aren't exactly a round shaft, this time it got a little dip in them. So when you cut them, and Candy knows how to do it, and slide it in, it kind of locks into the old, and you glue it, bird doesn't know the difference, and then later it'll molt it out.
Wow.
And if you look at in the internet, imping, it's imping, it's a title for doing that.
And so when he molts, I'll keep all of his, they're juvenile. So God forbid, knock on wood, he breaks a tail feather. I have a tail feather that I can put in there.
It won't be red though.
It won't be red. You're right, it will not be red.
Racing stripes.
Yeah.
So when they break though, if they break, do you actually pull it out and then?
No, you don't pull it from the base, we just cut it. Cut it where it cut,
Because they're kind of hollow, right?
and they're hollow.
Yeah.
And then you just measure, it's a whole system to it, not that hard, but it's what we do, if they break. And with her fighting with a 6 pound jackrabbit, it's bound to happen, and it happens quite often. She'll break feathers just wrestling with this 6 pound rabbit. Go ahead.
Are you gonna get a dog?
Yes, so his Brittany Spaniel is what he I think he's gonna be breeding her in the summer. So I'll be purchasing one for my daughter
For your daughter.
for Christmas, but really for me. So yeah.
But why don't you like the cottontail?
Oh, I do. Rabbit, anything that's rabbit.
More jackrabbit.
She has no preference. She'll take whatever.
How many people in here have seen a jackrabbit up close?
Yeah.
I had one in rehab over 32 years. It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. And he would, I couldn't get rid of him. He followed me everywhere. They're huge, and to have a hawk,
They are pretty big.
they're huge
They're pretty big.
and fast. I can't believe a hawk can really take one down.
Yes.
Yeah.
How can they carry a 6-pound black rabbit?
How? They grab it by the head. That's the only way that when they convert to hold it, has to grab it by the head. Or she'll get kicked out.
Because it's at the heaviest point.
Because where the head goes, the body goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for Candy. After you rehab the hawk or the owl or whatever, at what point do you decide when they're free to go, and do you release them back into the wild?
Yeah, ours, the rule is we try to release them where they came from. So I keep in contact with the finder. We try to take it back, unless it's in the middle of a freeway somewhere. We're not gonna do that, but, we try to take them back. And I have to watch and monitor them. I have to know that their weight is up. And a little different than the falconers do. My whole intent is to get them as fast as I can get them, to get them back out in the wild. And I feed them the same kind of things. I mean, my neighbors are great. Rats are very expensive. I feed a large rat a day to, say, a red-tailed hawk. If you go to a pet store and go to buy the things, they're like $4, $5, $6 a piece. And if I have a hawk for 2 or 3 months, and I usually have like 5 or 6 hawks, that just gets astronomical. I can buy through, I have a supplier where I buy through Leslie also, and they keep a freezer full. But my neighbors are great. We live in the country. They trap their ground squirrels, their gophers, their rats, whatever, and I come out and on my little stump by my cedar tree, I'll have gifts every once in a while. And they know it's muchly appreciated because that's one more thing I don't have to buy. But when they're eating well, their weight is up and they're flying back and forth, then it's time for them to go.
So that's one thing that people could do, is try to get a live animal trap and give you the squirrels or whatever they
Yeah,
have.
but you have to kill them before you give them to me. That seems to stop a lot of people in their tracks. Yeah, they can't be shot with lead. If a bird gets shot with lead and it's in their body, they can survive that. If they swallow it, ingest it, it will poison. So you can't be shot with lead, and of course, the people can't use poison. Yeah. Yeah, but I love just like dead things. I have Marcel.
Yes?
She's in Claret Oceanside. She traps for me. And every trip she comes up, she brings me an ice chest full of goodies. And she told her kids, if I die and you get in my freezer out in the garage, that's not what I've been eating. I'm good friends and good neighbors.
I guess just each one of your birds, are they familiar to you specifically? I mean, the bird, is it would it treat him the same as you? I mean,
No, yeah, because he's used to me, just like Chicken is used to him. Before I got Cap, I would go out hunting every so often with him, and Chicken got to know me and became comfortable because she saw me come around. But when we free fly him for the first time, he will be there, but he'll be like elsewhere because he's not going to act the same.
he's specific to you, and there's no
Yeah.
one else that kind of steps in and is yours.
Well, yes, I mean, I have him in the house a lot, so I have a perch that I have up in the house, where he's able to be, my daughter's around a lot, my husband's around a lot, so he's used to, them, but, strangers, not so much, and they don't handle him like I handle him, so.
They get to know you. They
Yeah.
actually do get to know who you are. They come to you. They'll see a group of people in the field, they fly towards you, they're like, oh, you're not the right one. They'll go
Set
to
up a person there and
they'll look around until you find you. Yes.
Do you wear the same clothing when you hunt, kind of give a visual? No.
Yes.
Is there any interaction with these types of birds? I know like songbirds and such, but is there any negative interaction between these category birds and like outdoor cats?
So hawks normally avoid cats because cats' saliva is poisonous to the birds. But there's an occasional that occasionally the hawk will grab a cat thinking it's a rabbit. But no, they avoid him. I'm sure there's interactions. Now eagles, on the other hand, an eagle with one talon through that cat, the cat's done.
Right.
But not with the hawk.
What about the local owl population? Is there interaction, Candy, do you know?
If there is, they're gonna kill each other. If the hawk sees the owl in the tree, distracted, possibly the hawk could kill the owl. But it's the same thing the other way around at night.
Sorry, to follow up, you know, the little packets for like building an owl, box? Is built, I know that they basically exist in different parts of the day, right? The night, you know, nocturnal versus diurnal, but, does building an owl box, will that affect the hawk population?
No.
No, okay.
No, they keep to themselves most of the
Those are
time.
barn owls also, not gray horns. And
Okay,
gray
that's
horns are
true.
the ones who are really the predator to them.
Yes, not the barn owls, great ones. They're enemies. Hawks and owls, especially red-tails and great-horned owls are enemies.
Naturally, around here, I guess I'm asking, as far as pigeons go, what percentage of the diet would be pigeons? Because I think of a lot of feathers and carcasses.
You know what, you might be seeing, these birds probably will not go after a pigeon unless there's an opportunity, like she said earlier. In fact, I didn't know that they went after koi, but I guess they do too. So if there's a young pigeon or a young to fly, or the pigeon could not run these two all day. But what you're probably dealing with is either falcons in the area or Cooper hawk. Cooper hawk will have a field with two pigeons.
So it's
that's what you're finding.
probably smaller than these, a little more gray.
Yeah, that's a Cooper hawk. So Cooper hawk will eat those things all day long.
And I tried to get my chihuahua one day, but so for pigeons.
Yeah, those birds will not go for mammals. They will only go for other birds.
Okay.
Songbirds, pigeons, quail, things like that. But yeah, we have exhibitors, Cooper hawks they're called.
Okay.
And they're the gray ones with the black banded tails. They're phenomenal aerial bird hunters.
Okay.
That's what you're dealing with probably. Yes?
Back to the food topic, would it be better to catch little critters with a snap trap as opposed to a live trap so we wouldn't have to kill them?
The only thing with that is you just have to make sure it hasn't been poisoned.
Yeah, yeah, if you've got neighbors that poison or whatever, so it's kind of good to ask around and spread the word anyway. You need to be telling people don't do that. But, snap traps are great. My friend in Oceanside, she bags them up in a little baggie and, you know, doesn't tell anybody what it is in the freezer, so. But, there's a lot of the live traps and the method where that some of those, the squirrelinators and the ratinators come with a tub, with a bucket, they are an enclosed type of a bucket where you set the trap down in it in water and just walk away. When you come back, they're done. But a lot of people can't do that, but then being a rehabber, we have to cut up mice into little bitty pieces and that kind of thing, so I get used to all of that. And I don't expect everybody else to be that way too. It's a little strange.
So to start, and maybe for you, from day one, hey, I'd like to get into this, you talk to your sponsor. You wanna start the apprentice program, how much cost-wise from day one to now have you put into this? Because I'm sure it's expensive.
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Okay. Average or, I mean.
You know,
seems
I don't wanna put a number on it because, I think it's to each his own on like how much you're willing to spend on your facility. But I think it also goes to show that it does not matter the cost if you really truly wanna get into it. I think that has to be you kinda go, okay, well, whatever it costs. Again, it depends on what kind of facility you build, what kind of materials you use. And then, you think about the fees. What I can share is like fees for like your inspection fees, $100. It's $100 for your application. It's the books that you buy. It's the equipment. Yeah, I mean, let's just say at least a few thousand probably. Yeah, at least a few, if not. So, yes.
Mine is a little different. Do you have a test in this, for the license? And, do you take it frequently and go back, like to renew your license?
So, no, you don't have to retake the test, but I had already purchased some books when I reached out to Alex and told him that I wanted to officially start, doing this, and spent probably, they say, it just depends on how much time you put into studying. I spent probably 3 or 4 months studying for my exam. It's 100 questions, all different types of birds, all different aspects, from health to taking care of them to the types of birds and prey, and you have to pass the 80%, and you pay for that fee too. And so,
Do you have to take a test every so often?
no,
Or
so
do
you renew your license
Yes.
once a year.
Do you have to have any credits? Do you have to do, like, take that type of thing? Looks like nursing or something else?
No, it's more, it's just
Mhm.
complicated and complicated.
So one time, you just redo it like your driver's license at times? Okay.
Yeah, and you renew it in July and you pay every year, so. So they're both really happy, they got like that.
So you said that your Harris hawk was, not taken from the wild, right?
Correct.
So were the parents actually bred in captivity? This was
Yes.
bred in captivity?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Whenever they go out to the park and they eat that, whenever they get done eating that thing, now is that going to be the only one they're going to eat that day, or they're going to go out?
Nope, that's it. So when they get a full crop, they don't have a stomach, we call it a full crop. When they have a full crop, it'll last about 2 days. So she won't have to eat for 2 days.
And you can kind of see, I actually was just out flying him before I came here and working on training him. He's got a little bit of a bump here, and that's where his crop is at. And so he's got a nice little full crop, as we were just, so.
Oh, he's happy, huh?
Probably, yes.
That's it, she, she's got a leg out and 10. Yes.
How do you know, when you were saying that, she was getting a little angry, what was she doing? I didn't know.
Yeah, so what she does, she leans forward and starts to make an arch on the back of her neck.
Oh.
That we call a posturing. She's now saying, hey, who are you? What are you doing here? And so, in order to avoid that, just block the view. But we call that posturing. When you could do this often, or in the years that I've done it, you'll get to read the body language. We know, she knew when the bird went poop, so she brought it over here, because we know by reading the body language. Yes.
Owls can turn their head to see what's their range of vision
For these guys,
for these guys.
hawks can read a newspaper across a football field. That's how good their eyesight is.
But is it,
And it's crossed.
is it tunnel?
No, it's crossed. And you'll see a lot of birds of prey will bob their heads like this because they're trying to gauge distance and movement and confirm that they saw movement. That's the reason why they're like doing this to make sure that they will stop. The cross view it's what they saw. So the eyes, position of their eyes on the side, not in front. Yes?
I was gonna ask, so you said you took the bird out before you came, so you just take it out like in the ravine down here, and you let it go, and it finds the prey, and then so it knows to come back to you?
So that's the goal, right? So we're hoping to get him to that point. Right now, I'm taking him out to like a park where it's open. So I was just over at the community center park and that spot next to the parking area where I can have him on what they call a crayon slide. And so it's a very lightweight like nylon rope. You can get it like Home Depot kind of thing. And so that way then if he did decide to try to take off, he's not gonna be able to go anywhere really, and that will also tell me that he's too high in weight and I need to continue to slowly lower his weight so that he comes back to me. So.
Is that the same with the Harris?
Yes. Yes.
If you're interested in falconry, do you have any restrictions on where you can house these birds? In other words, like a residential area, can you have your mew in the backyard? Or are there restrictions on the location?
There's no restriction on hawks, provided you have the appropriate size mew. Now, if you have a 2-bedroom apartment with no backyard, that's gonna be a problem. You might be able to get away with a kestrel that does not require the 8x8x8 enclosure.
Yeah. One last thing, I know it's kind of a technical issue, but what if you own this bird and you have the mew and you're in a residential area and a neighbor, I don't know if this would happen, but the neighbor is attacked by the bird. Are you liable?
Why would your neighbor be inside your mew?
I don't know, like a cat in a neighbor's yard or a person?
Your mew should be animal proof.
I mean, the
Nothing
bird is
should
out.
be able to. Oh, you don't let them out in the neighborhood. When the
You
bird's
take 'em out to
home,
the field.
it's safely in the mew. The only time you let it free is when you're in the field hunting. It'll never be unattended. Now, if you're hunting and somebody's walking a little chihuahua and the bird decides, oh, that's a good rabbit, I'm gonna go grabs it, yeah, you're gonna have to pay some vet bills.
Okay, one last question and then
Okay, it's not really, I just wanna know what chicken is doing when she goes like.
Yawning.
This is yawning.
And we'd like to thank Alex and his assistant for bringing the birds today and for a wonderful informative. And there's still some refreshments over here. Please help yourself. And thank you all for coming.